The moment you feel it, but can't explain it. Have you ever had a conversation with a married woman, and for some reason it just didn't feel normal? She didn't cross a line. She didn't flirt. She didn't say anything you could point to and call inappropriate. But the way she looked at you, the way her voice softened, how she leaned in just a little too close, or how she asked you a question and waited just a little too long for your answer. It wasn't loud, but it was there. And if you've ever felt that quiet charge in the air, you know what I'm talking about. Most men ignore it. They tell themselves, she's just being nice and I'm reading too much into this. But here's the truth. You're not crazy because attraction, real, unconscious and forbidden, rarely announces itself. Especially not from a woman who's already committed. You see, not every married woman is deeply fulfilled. Some feel emotionally unseen. Some haven't been truly listened to in months or years. And then you show up, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you carry something she's been starving for. Presence, calm, depth, that quiet strength only a grounded man gives off, and without realizing it, your energy shifts something in hers. She doesn't even know why, but her body starts responding before her brain can catch up. Longer glances, subtle smiles, a kind of stillness when you speak, like the rest of the room has disappeared. This isn't about judging her, it's about awareness, because attraction from a married woman isn't always wrong, but it is complicated. And if you don't recognize the signs, if you don't understand the emotional current beneath the surface, you might misread the moment. Or worse, get pulled into a storm you weren't prepared for. So the next time you feel it, not lust, not fantasy, but that strange gravity between you and someone already taken, pause, not to act, but to see it for what it really is. That's the start of strength. Attraction doesn't shout. It whispers. Not all attraction is loud. Not every connection starts with fireworks or flirtation. Sometimes it's quiet, almost sacred. A moment where something inside her shifts, and she doesn't even know why. This is the kind of attraction no one talks about. It's not in movies or dating books. It's not the kind of chemistry that comes with cheesy pickup lines or bold advances. It's deeper. It lives in the silence between words, in the nervous laugh, in the quick glance that lingers half a second too long, especially when it comes from a woman who's already married. You see, not every woman who's married feels emotionally fulfilled. Some are loved but not heard, touched but not seen. Over time, that creates a quiet emptiness, one that doesn't scream but waits. And then, without meaning to, you become the mirror she didn't know she needed. Not because you said anything romantic, not because you played games, but because of the way you carry yourself, calm, certain, fully present. You offer something rare, a kind of emotional stillness that makes her nervous system slow down. And in a world of noise, that stillness is magnetic. It doesn't mean she wants to cheat, but it does mean she's feeling something real, something her brain hasn't processed, but her body has already responded to. This is why the most dangerous attraction isn't physical, it's psychological. It doesn't show up in sexy texts or candlelight. It shows up in micro-expressions, in body language, in subtle energy shifts you can't quite explain. And here's the truth most men miss. You don't need to be charming to be attractive. You just need to be anchored, present, unshaken. Because when you're that grounded, she feels safe enough to open without even realizing it. So the next time you feel that invisible current, that unspoken tension, know this. It's not always desire. Sometimes it's a reflection. And if you're wise enough to see it for what it is, you won't fall into the fire. You'll learn how to walk beside it without getting burned. The first sign she's drawn to you, without saying a word, you know what's wild. Sometimes the loudest message isn't spoken, it's reflected. Ever notice how someone might mirror your body language without realizing it? You lean forward during a conversation, and moments later, they do too. You cross your arms and so do they. It feels like coincidence, but it's not. There's actually a term for this, the chameleon effect. It's a psychological phenomenon rooted deep in our survival wiring. When someone feels drawn to another person, emotionally, psychologically, even physically, their subconscious begins to echo the energy in front of them. It's a silent signal of connection. And it happens without permission, without awareness, and often without words. Now here's where it gets tricky. When a married woman starts mirroring you, it's not just politeness, it's not a habit. It's an internal tug of war, a sign that something deeper is happening beneath the surface. You're not just someone she's talking to. You've become someone her body wants to synchronize with. Why? Because the masculine presence you carry, calm, grounded, certain, awakens something in her that she might not have felt in a long time. Not drama, not lust, but a desire to feel close again, to feel safe, to feel seen and mirroring. It's how her subconscious reaches out, like a whisper that says, "Stay, I feel something here." But here's the wisdom. A high-value man doesn't take this as a green light. He doesn't feed the spark. He recognizes it, because the difference between a man who chases and a man who observes is legacy. So the next time you notice someone mirroring your posture, your tone, even your rhythm, don't ignore it. Don't react with ego, just note it. Because when attraction is real, it rarely announces itself. It simply reflects you. When she tells you what she can't tell her husband, it starts small. Maybe she opens up about her day, a frustration at work, a childhood memory she hasn't spoken of in years. You nod, you listen, you respond calmly, without judgment. And then something shifts. She starts telling you things she wouldn't tell anyone else, her fears, her regrets, her disappointments in marriage, wrapped in soft jokes or quiet sighs. She says things like, "I don't even talk to my husband about this." Or, "It's strange how easy it is to talk to you." That's not just trust. That's not just friendship. That's emotional intimacy. And if you're paying attention, you'll realize you've crossed a line that most men don't even know exists. See, emotional affairs rarely start with seduction. They start with sharing, with connection, with moments that feel innocent. Until they're not. Because the moment she turns to you instead of her husband, even just for comfort, something powerful is happening under the surface. Her emotional loyalty is shifting, not intentionally, not maliciously, but gradually. It's in the way she lights up when you listen, in the relief she feels when she doesn't have to hide her truth, in the safety she finds in your presence. Because you get it, this is the most dangerous kind of intimacy. Because there's no flirting, no touching, no scandal, just two people talking, while slowly unraveling invisible boundaries. If you've been there and if you're there now, so here's the truth. It's not your job to carry the weight she can't bring to her partner. You can be kind, you can be respectful, but you have to be clear. Because every time she opens up just a little more, you're stepping deeper into a bond that neither of you may be ready for. A grounded man knows this. Not all intimacy is innocent. And some of the most dangerous connections start with just a conversation, when her body sends mixed signals, but her soul is speaking clearly. One day she's distant, polite but cold, no eye contact, arms folded, body turned ever so slightly away, like she's guarding something. Then the next day, she's warm, present, laughs at your jokes. Her hand lightly touches your arm when she talks. She leans in. Her gaze holds a little longer, and just when you think something shifted, she pulls back again. Sound familiar? This isn't about confusion. Not about you, anyway. This is a woman wrestling with herself, with a desire she doesn't fully understand, and a boundary she knows she shouldn't cross. Her body speaks louder than she ever will. And when you watch closely, you'll see the story unfold in contradiction. Moment, tension. The next, softness. One day, silence. The next, too many questions, too much eye contact, too much something. It's not manipulation, it's conflict between how she feels and what she knows, between the comfort she finds in you and the reality of her commitments. And here's where most men go wrong. They react, they lean in when she opens up, they chase the warmth and flinch at the cold. They read every gesture as a signal, and get trapped in a cycle they don't understand. But a grounded man, he doesn't move. He observes. He stays steady. He doesn't take her inconsistency personally, because he knows it's not really about him. It's about her own internal war. The truth is, when attraction is restrained by conscience, it doesn't move in a straight line, it stutters, it hesitates, it sends out sparks, and immediately tries to smother them. So next time you notice the mixed signals, don't chase the warmth, and don't recoil from the cold. Just stay still, present, unshaken, because sometimes the most respectful thing you can do is not step forward when she's not ready to meet you there. When her words tease, but her soul is testing you, it sounds playful. Just a passing comment. You must be a heartbreaker. I bet women are all over you. Or that soft sigh followed by, I wish my husband noticed things like that. It's easy to laugh it off, easy to treat it like a joke. But if you're paying attention, really paying attention, you'll realize she's not just talking. She's testing. These aren't compliments, they're probes, subtle invitations to see how emotionally available you are. Tiny sparks tossed your way to see if you'll throw fuel on the fire. And here's what makes it dangerous. She doesn't even need you to answer directly. She just wants to feel the tension, the possibility, the unspoken maybe that hovers in the silence after her words, because attraction, especially forbidden attraction, feeds on ambiguity, not declarations, not confessions, but these grey moments where curiosity lingers and no one has to say what they really feel. And this is where men of discipline stand apart. The average man flirts back. He lets ego drive the moment. He enjoys the thrill, even if it's subtle, because validation is addictive. But a grounded man? He stays still, not cold, not dismissive, just unmoved, because he knows something most don't. You don't need to engage every invitation just because it flatters you. You don't need to chase attention just because it's offered. Every time you respond with presence, not performance, with clarity, not curiosity, you draw a line, a quiet one, but powerful, and she will feel it. She may back away, not in anger but in quiet respect, because you didn't flinch, you didn't play the game. You stayed loyal to your own emotional clarity, and in that stillness, you showed strength most men never will, the kind of strength that doesn't just attract as it defines who you are. Say, you didn't start it, but you're still responsible. Here's the truth most men don't want to hear. You don't have to initiate attraction to be held accountable for it. You didn't flirt. You didn't cross a line. But the energy is there. You feel it. She feels it. And now is how you respond is matters, because this is where boys get tested and men get revealed. You see, a Stoic man doesn't need to prove anything. He doesn't feed on flattery. He doesn't confuse attention for affection or validation for value. The world trains men to chase attention, to respond when someone notices them. But high-value men? They move different. They don't chase signals. They read them. They don't react to temptation. They recognize it, and then decide whether it aligns with their code. Here's what makes this hard. Attraction itself isn't wrong. Feeling a pull towards someone, even if the timing or circumstances are off, doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. But what separates strength from chaos is how you hold the line, because if you indulge every spark, every smile, every whispered invitation, you lose more than clarity. You lose yourself. And no woman, no moment, no emotional high is worth that. So yes, sometimes walking away is the bravest move. Not out of fear, not out of guilt, but out of principle. Because when you can look temptation in the eye, feel the pull, feel the fire, and still say, that's not for me, that's not weakness, that's legacy. And, in a world where everyone wants more attention, be the man who doesn't need it. Walk away. Not because you're weak, but because you're aware by now. You've probably realized this video was never just about women. It was about you. It's not about decoding someone else's attention. It's about understanding your own. Because every glance, every unspoken moment, every subtle signal is really a mirror. A chance to see who you are when no one's labeling you, when no one's watching. You see, attraction isn't dangerous because it's wrong. It becomes dangerous when you stop respecting the fire, when you treat curiosity like permission, when you trade clarity for attention, but the man who can feel the pull and still pause, still breathe, still walk away, that man owns himself. He's not cold, he's not closed off, he's centered. He doesn't chase validation because he's already aligned with his values. That's the Stoic path. It's not about being emotionless, and it's about choosing which emotions rule you. It's not about denying attraction. It's about being strong enough not to follow every spark. So here's your quiet challenge. If you've ever felt this kind of invisible tension, if you've ever seen it but didn't know what to, call it, leave a single word in the comments. Aware, not proud, not ashamed, just aware. Because awareness is where strength begins. And if you take nothing else from this, let it be this. Real power is not in how many women want you, but in how few can move you. That's the legacy you leave. That's the man you become. And that is the fire you don't need to play with because you've already mastered it. So if this message spoke to you, not just as a man, but as a human being learning to lead with clarity, not impulse, then stay with us. Because this isn't just a channel. It's a space to grow in silence, to build discipline in a noisy world, and to walk the path of quiet strength that most never dare to choose. Subscribe now, not for the views, but for the voice inside you that says, I'm ready to become more. And when the world tries to shake you, you'll know exactly where to return, right here, grounded, focused, unmoved.